Esther 2, 8 through 10 says, "When the king's order and edict had been proclaimed, many girls were brought to the citadel of Susa and put under the care of Hegai. And Esther was also taken to the king's palace and entrusted to Hegai, who had charge of the harem. The girl pleased him and won his favor, and immediately he provided her with beauty treatments and with special food. And he assigned her to the 7 maids selected from the king's palace and moved her and her maids into the best place of the harem. Esther had not revealed her nationality and family background because Mordecai had forbidden her to do so." Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 90-day reading plan, today's reading is Esther 2, 8 through 23, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, because of her beauty, Esther was taken to the king's palace to be prepared to come in front of the king. It took her a year before she was prepared to enter before the king. And this is a one-time shot. If the king found pleasure in her, she would only come back if he called her by name. Otherwise, she was sent back to the harem and remained there. Now, we're not told much about Mordecai and what he told Esther prior to her being taken. The exception is that she was told not to tell Ahasuerus that she was a Jew. She was just to present herself. And think of the situation here. Here was a young lady from a group of people who they'd been exiled to Babylon, and when it came to a chance for them to return to Israel, their family had chosen to stay. Here was a young lady who really meant nothing to the grand scheme of things, and yet God used her in such a way that she is remembered each year during the Feast of Purim. A little later in the story, we'll learn that she also had a very strong personality. It seems that the king liked that kind of woman, but she also understood that when she was to submit to instruction, she listened to Mordecai about not telling her race, and she listened to Hegai about how to act before the king. Well, we as Christians must also learn how to submit. I know that that's not a popular concept in the United States today, but it is through submission that we learn to control ourselves and our passions. It is through submission that we learn the wisdom of what we are to do and what we are not to do. And there is nothing wrong with submission. Frankly, we do so every day. You follow the rules of the road when you're driving. You follow the laws that are in your town or state or country. This is submission. So why do we have a problem submitting to God when we don't have a problem submitting to man?